Who else got to pay up? So we in Detroit, right? Who in Detroit right now? Chris Brown and
And
Usher.
Usher, yes,
They
sir.
going crazy right now. But Chris Brown got some bad news while he was on tour. So Chris Brown has been ordered to pay a $13 million judgment to his ex housekeeper. So housekeepers, maid, nanny, whatever, right? Someone who's around the house doing all the things you need. So a jury found him liable for her injuries after an unfortunate attack by a dog that was on his property. And now, so you read some information about this, about some type of money that was exchanged. So what happened with that?
Yeah, so it seems as though someone who's in charge of Chris Brown's security team
Right.
allegedly, right, allegedly gave this young lady $40,000 after the incident, but maybe there's no, contractual agreement to her accepting that money. Maybe it was in cash, and basically the courts are like, hey, that 40 grand that she accepted or allegedly received is irrelevant in this case, and we're going to be able to carry on and
Right.
sue for these total damages of 13,000 anyway.
Now I wonder if
I'm
that
sorry,
was
13 million.
yeah, I wonder if that was cash, like did they give her cash or
Probably
because that's the thing, like I can give you $40,000 right now.
can't
I
prove
can't
it.
prove I gave you forty
Yep,
thousand. It's not worth the bag that you gave me the money in, right?
yep.
Now if they wired her 40,000, they cash app, some type of traceable, something you can track and you can show like, hey, this person accepted 8 transactions of $5,000 that equaled $40,000. There's no real in court. You have to prove what's going on,
Yeah.
and they was
So
asking for like 90 million though. Unfortunately,
that's so what I've always been curious about is like how you get to the calculation of 13 million. Because if we're I mean, I don't know if medical bills are 13 million, but that's ridiculous.
yeah,
Like even if we factor in what I do understand that makes logical sense of like a replacement of income, right? Let's say she's
correct.
permanently disabled, she can't work for the rest of her life. Okay, we
And then this is
calculate.
Chris Brown's. So she probably was making 6 figures. This is Chris Brown
Okay,
housekeeper. She making
okay,
let's just call it 100,000,
okay.
and she 38.
So if we calculate out how much she would have made over the rest of her working career, and then we add in maybe medical bills, does
That
it reach 13 million?
no,
That still
that's
feels a little
probably like
extensive,
that's
doesn't
probably
it?
like a million and a half too. But then you got quality of life if you walking around your face mauled by a dog. You know what I'm saying? You might missing a couple fingers. Like, what is your finger
Yeah.
worth?
It's just so interesting to see what they factor in to reach these calculations,
Yeah.
because a lot of it seems
And
like
then
subjective
it's
stuff.
also it's Chris Brown, so he's a superstar. He got hundreds of millions
Yeah.
of dollars, so they like you can afford this.
Yeah, that's the part I don't like,
Um,
because it could have been anybody's dog.
yeah, and I mean if it was Joe Blow up the street, you
There's not
know,
13 million to come after.
yeah. So now you can
Yeah.
come after their house or some type of insurance policy that they might have for the property,
Yeah.
but
And that's the other thing I'm thinking about. Like, is there some way for Chris Brown going forward to protect himself in the incident of any guest, whether we just coming over to watch the game, or we in the studio in my basement making a record, or you're a hired housekeeper? Like, is there some way to say if anything happens to you on my property, right?
now he might have. Now we don't know this for sure, but he might have had some type of insurance. I don't know if it covered 13 million. So,
That's interesting.
that's up to him. But they were asking for 90 million in damages.
Yeah,
That's a lot of.
nonetheless
But
unfortunate. Hope
remember
she's
what we
okay.
just talked about? How lawyers would you got to pay per hour. See, in this situation, this is like a tort claim, a personal injury claim. So a lawyer would take this um a contingency fee. So this is what the lawyers would do. Okay, I get 33%
Yeah, so they shooting for the moon.
plus. I didn't know about this part. Plus the legal fees.
Mm.
Now you think the 33% is the legal fees? No. So let's say they were billing her per hour, but she couldn't pay it. They're going to bill per hour and say, "Oh, case was 2 3 years. Okay, so we billed you $1 million in legal fees. That covers the legal fees. Oh, we also get to continue. We brought in experts. We brought in a dog expert. We brought in a physician, a restructionist. We hired this person. So all of that, the client has to pay for. So that's all coming off the top.
And then take a third of.
or they take a third and then you see what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
take a third and then they start cutting out that, and then that's what you get.
Yeah.
I don't know which one comes first, whether the stuff comes off the top or the third comes off the top. I'm not an attorney, so I wouldn't know that part. But you see how these attorneys going to fight for this because they're getting basically 40% of this.
So them coming across a case where a dog is mauling someone at Chris Brown's house is a jackpot.
Oh
because they're
my
like,
God, yes.
He has the money for us to get, so we're gonna come up with every which
Like
way.
you said, that
and then
Joe
also
Blow.
purposely takes 6 months to work through it so we can continue to rack up the bill.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not moving fast at all. That's the crazy thing about laws. You don't want a fast attorney. Like, you want an attorney that's going to measure twice and cut once.
Yeah.
You don't want an attorney that's going to show up and say, yeah, I skimmed through the documents. No. I want an attorney that said, I read the terms of service, and in the terms of service, you said X, Y, and Z. So this is why we're in court, because X, Y, and Z is in your terms of service. Most people have never. When I had an issue, like one of my Instagram accounts, I literally went and read the terms of service. And I realized, like, oh man, I gotta sue them. And if I was to sue them, right? Obviously, I'm not suing Facebook or Instagram, but I'm just saying, like, in their terms of service, it says you have to sue them in California court in the northern district of California. What do we know about California? It's more expensive than everywhere else. So not only do you got to get an attorney, you got to get an attorney barred in California, and they're not charging $500 an hour. They're charging $1,000.
Yeah, they
So
2x
it's almost
everything.
impossible to sue them unless you have some type of huge claim where somebody would take a contingency fee. So these companies strategically set it up that way. Thank you guys for watching. I want to make a deal with you. On my end, I'm going to produce high quality, informative content for you to enjoy and learn from. And on your end, you're going to subscribe down below to the podcast. Now we have a 50-50 deal to build this independent media company together. And if you want to invest with us and ensure our success, subscribe down to the YouTube membership. It really, really helps us hire journalists, hire videographers, and do the investigative journalism and independent journalism that you love and that you learn from.